Hello, BookTube, and welcome to episode 9 of Vintage Science Fiction Eye Candy, where I am looking at and sorting through and bagging my 1960s, 1950s, and a few 1940s science fiction paperbacks. And once I'm done the 60s, I will go on to the 70s. Now, we start out with a writer that I really enjoy, Lee Brackett, and this is an ace. You can see that it's got the sticker on there for UK sales. And this was supposed to have been in perfect condition, but as you can see, there is a bad crease down the cover, so I wasn't pleased with that. So I made a complaint, and I think they just refunded my money. So yeah, it's got other damage to it. It's a nice cover. This was published originally in 1955 as Ace. Well, actually, no, this is 1955 or 1953 was magazine version, and this is 1955 Ace book. So it says. I'm a little suspicious of that. I don't know if the date's correct with that. And it's got a bit of artwork there. I think that's all. Yeah, that's all there is, just at the beginning. Jeff Jones did the cover. And yeah, I really enjoy Lee Brackett. And I've been wanting to get her stuff and reread her. I've read most of it a long time ago, and recently I've got a yen to rereading her material. And here we got Alpha Centauri or Die by Lee Brackett, another Ace paperback. Kind of a cool looking cover on it. And again, this one's in pretty good shape. I'm pleased with that. And it's Carlos Occhiavia, Ochagavia. I'm sure I'm butchering that. This is 1963, I think it says. Yeah, 1963. Now we've got, this is a Dupa, but it's a different publisher. Carson of Venus by Edgar Rice Burroughs. I do not know who the cover artist is, but it's a British edition. It is Foursquare Science Fiction, and 1967, January 1967, the first Foursquare edition. And I was picking up Edgar Rice Burroughs as I saw it here in the UK, because the American editions are quite expensive most of the time. So, but I haven't bought any for many years now, because, well, they're just too expensive, and the condition is not conducive to what I want. We got Edmund Hamilton, Lee Brackett's husband. This one I'm pretty sure I've read before. Can't quite remember. I do like Edmund Hamilton. I like his material from the late 20s. Like, they're very pulpy, very space opera. And there's the one that has a collection of most of the short stories. It's called Crashing Suns. I really like. And this is Ed Emshwiller, who is the artist there. And this is a Lancer book. And saying 1954, but again, I'm not so sure about that. And I'm not sure where that damage came from, but I remember buying this and they were saying it was perfect condition, but the spine is sunned. It's slightly faded, but that's expected by the color, but you should still mention that. But yeah, I enjoy that, and I enjoy Edmund Hamilton. Full stop. Now we've got an anthology here, or a collection, because yeah, an anthology, I guess you would say. Oh, I didn't notice that. It's a bit rough on the back. It's Donald A. Wollheim and Terry Carr. It's the world's best science fiction, 1966. Uh, it's one of the smaller Ace paperbacks, and it says 15 stories in it. Let's see here. It's got an introduction by the editors, as I mentioned before. Really good stuff. The editorial comments. Sunjammer, Ace Arthur C. Clarke, Calling Mr. Clockwork, Ron Goulart, Becalmed in Hell, Larry Niven, Apartness, Verna Vinge, Over the River and Through the Woods by Clifford D. Simak, hence the reason why I bought this, I think. Planet of Forgetting, James H. Smits. Repent, Harlequin, said the TikTok Man, Harlan Ellison. The Decision Makers, Joseph Green. Traveler's Rest, David I. Mason. Uncollected Works, Lynn Carter. Vanishing Point, Jonathan Brand. In Our Block, R.A. Lafferty. Mask of the Red Shift, Fred Saberhagen. The Captive Gin, Christopher Anvil. And the Good New Days, Fritz Leiber. Some pretty good stuff in there. And there's interior. It's Jack Gaughan is the interior illustrations, we'll show in a second. And Cosimo Scianna. If you can read that, it looks blurred on my screen. But yeah, it's got interior by Jack Gaughan. Which I do like. Let's see. I think there's something at the head of each story. I'll show a few of them. I won't show them all. Oh, it looks basically the same thing. Let's look at another one further in. Oh no, the Simak one's different. Yeah, they teamed up, Carr and Wollheim, for quite a few of these until Wollheim went on his own, and then Terry Carr did a number of anthologies himself. Hal Clement, Needle. I like this cover, but I have no idea who is the artist. It's a corgi, British one. It's in a bit rough shape. They're split down the spine, rough around the edges. It's a good. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy Hal Clement. Sometimes he gets very sort of dry, and he's not the best wordsmith. This is Trans World Publishers. Corgi. It's a corgi science fiction, and this was originally published in the UK in '61 by Victor Gollancz, and then this Corgi edition published in 1963. Basically, it's originally 1949 and 50, and it's a really good science fiction story. Biological science fiction, I guess you could say. Now, this goes back to, we've seen a few of these pictorial covers. This is A.E. Van Vogt. I have no idea who, if the photography is or the artist who must have did a few things there. This is a Panther edition of Slan. Probably one of A.E. Van Vogt's best known works. It says first published in Great Britain by Weidenfeld and Nicholson in 1953. Panther edition, 1960. And this is reprinted in 1968. Now, Slan has an interesting history. It was first published in Astounding Science Fiction. I've got all issues except one. I'm missing one of them. And then there was an abridged version I'm not sure of the order here, but anyway, there was an abridged version in Fantastic Novels. Arkham House did the first book edition of it, and there were changes for that. And then he changed it again a couple times before the end. So there's, if you count the abridged version, but he probably had nothing to do with the abridged version. But it looks like 4 different versions that he did fiddle with. He fiddled with his books all the time, and he just couldn't leave them alone. And that's where he would use some of the stories, and he would reuse them and make a fix-up novel, and we'll get to that in a moment. This is a nice one, The Panther. It says the cover. I don't know who the cover artist is, but it's very reminiscent of Richard Powers. Not sure, somebody's written something in pencil there, but I can't read what it is. Originally 57, with Simon and Schuster, and Panther edition published September 1960. And there's the back of it. This one's in pretty good shape. It's flaking along the edge, which black, you get that a lot. A little bit of wear. It's rubbing at the top and the heel of the spine. But yeah, this is, I really like this one. Here's the case in point. Again, another sort of, it's, I don't know who to attribute this to, and I suppose I wouldn't want to be attributed to it. It's pretty bad, even though these are ones that I like, the McFadden Bartel, but this is later. It's 1968, second printing of it, and August 68. First printing of it in McFadden was May 1964. And this is, it says the book is the complete text of the hardbound edition. This is a situation where he fixed up a fix-up novel with short stories, and he reused that same one of the stories at least in one other novel, and the original story is a bit different, and this is not the best of one of his, that's for sure. But it's interesting. Again, I keep saying that I like Van Vogt, but he drives me nuts, and I want to untangle all this. I want to go through his writings and see what short stories he did and what he did with them when he did them to a fix-up and when he reused them. This one I enjoyed, and I do know the cover artist there. It's Hoot van Zitzwitz. Hoot van Zitzwitz. That's the only pronunciation that I can see. And this is with Main Hull, his wife. Now, there's question on both sides whether he had anything to do with the writing and it's his wife's, or he did the writing and she put out stuff in her name. But I did enjoy this one. It's a time travel sort of story, but I don't want to get too much into stories here. It's a bit rough on the back, and the spine's pretty good. This is is it Berkeley? Is it Berkeley Medallion? Yeah, Berkeley Medallion book. May 1967 is the Berkeley Medallion. Originally it says 44 and then 66. Because this is not a fix-up novel as far as I can tell. So that's number 9, I think. There's 2 more that are specifically 60s, and then we start into the 70s. Thank you, BookTube.